So, warm good evening to everyone. And okay, so give me just 1 second. Yeah. So, a warm good evening to everyone. I'm sure आप लोग सबको exam fever कभी ना कभी हुआ होगा. It's a very important topic. Especially, now the youth are facing a different kind of challenge with so much of distraction, social media, smartphones around. It's not easy for them. So, a warm welcome to each one of you who's present now and also the ones who will be watching us later on YouTube. My name is Divya Shah and Radio Diva as an initiative. We started to vent out our emotions during the first lockdown, but it has gradually transformed into a platform where experts, especially from the mental health space, they join us, they share their wisdom with us, life lessons with us, and help us be better individuals. I'll request each one of you to be part of our happy go lucky community. It's growing, and you can follow us on Facebook and Insta by the same name, Radio Diva, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel again by the same name. So our today's, speaker is a person I am super attached to. I am very fond of her. Sarika Raghuvanshi, she has done a session with us before. She has done her MSc, MEd, diploma course in guidance and counseling, MA in clinical psychology. She has 12 years of working experience with Army public schools and Kendriya Vidyalaya in various parts of the country. So, for her, it was a very different experience. She found her calling. After being teacher for so many years, she found her calling in counseling. And then, she has also enrolled in the directory of counselors in the Manodarpan cell, which is an initiative by NCRT New Delhi. She has been a panelist speaker in Sahyog sessions for adolescents and parents in NCRT several times, and she's a practicing counselor for the Army Wives Welfare Association in association with the NGO Prehari, and she's working as a counselor right now with Army Public Schools. So I think she is the perfect person for this important topic that we had taken today. And I'll request all of you who couldn't, whose friends couldn't join in, please share the recording with them because they should also benefit out of this session because there are so many parents and children. I think all of them are struggling with this exam fever. What do you think, Sarika? Over to you.
So, yes, and you rightly said, Divya, that after this COVID pandemic, when the children actually started coming to school, as educator also, we are experiencing that children have developed a learning gap, which is actually creating trouble for students as well as teachers and parents. So yes, this has, and as you said, the different kind of distractions which are there nowadays in our children's life, which the things they are exposed to now, it is also making them difficult to face things like exam and preparing for the exam. So yes, it's a very important topic to deal with. So shall we move on with the PPT, or how would you like to, I mean, take it ahead?
Let's start with the PPT and
Okay.
yes. I'm so happy. I mean, like you did the hard work and you prepared a presentation for everyone so that people benefit out of it. That's so nice of you. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, so see nowadays, see in our times or in even the earlier times, either people used to go to school and study and pursue higher studies, or they used to, I mean, drop out or not pursue higher studies. But now the government's initiative and the policies, the focus is on people continuing their education. So, and every university, at every level, there are different, entrance exams. The children are scoring so high. I mean, in our time, scoring 99% marks was totally unimaginable. And now 99.923, I mean, this was This is really awesome, man. Therefore, the cutoff, the cutthroat competition the children are experiencing, and every small mistake, I mean, they cannot afford. They feel it is simply can't afford or not affordable. So that's why I think it is adding on to this stress of facing the exams, isn't it? But I mean, how many of you still there may be people, the adults who are associated with the children. They must be at times we make statements कि कुछ नहीं होता stress वगैरह लिखना ही तो है जाके you are going to school every day. So why there's nothing called stress and it's just in the mind and all that. So I want to ask you, is it real or is it just a thing which is projected? As a student, please try to recollect the have you ever experienced something like this, a stress before exam? Yes. It,
Always.
yes, somebody's trying to speak, I think.
Yeah, we have experienced stress. It's easy to say that don't worry, everything
Mhm.
is alright. But
Yes.
when we were students, we did experience it.
Yes. And as I was mentioning that I started studying again in 2017. So I remember me and my son used to study in the same room with two tables. It used to look like a classroom. And he used to ask me कि mama pass हो जाओगे कि नहीं? Mama, have you practiced or not? Mama, have you completed the syllabus or not? And I used to wonder if I suppose I am not able to perform well, what would my son think about me? And failing in this age, how it would, I mean, these kind of thoughts used to come to my mind. So yes, it is real, and it doesn't happen that way that if you are facing it again and again, if you are writing exams very regularly, so it goes off. Some people have an anxiety. Even the students who are brilliant, they also face it. Not just the average or the below average students, it is experienced by all kind of students. The reasons can be different. So let's try to see what causes it. Divya, next slide please. This is a funny quote I found from the Google, so I felt like sharing it because, let's start on a lighter note, thinking this. So students experience it, everybody experience it, but still we all procrastinate the preparation. All this is it goes after the exams. We forget about what we have experienced. We make all the plans keep that next time the exams come we will prepare beforehand and we'll do this and we'll do that, but वो है ना where कल से पढ़ेंगे remains constant. This is so we need to stay change the strategies and do little more preparation and planning so that we don't get overwhelmed with this feeling. See, little bit of pressure is required. It is positive. It's stress. It's a positive kind of stress which provides a kind of motivational push so that we prepare and work hard. Neeta is saying kal se padhenge is so true. Yes. So shall we move on to the next slide? Okay, so how does it look like? How do we understand that my child or my student or my I am also experiencing something called stress or anxiety related to a test or an exam? How does it look like? So the people who have experienced it, uh, I want your inputs. I mean, not just exam, any kind of stressful situation. How does it feel? I mean, how do you feel in the body? What kind of emotions one experience? Would you like to share? Anybody? And I have also met people and students. Yes, fear. Nita is saying fear. Okay. And I have also, as I mentioned, I have seen people, they say digestion gets affected. Yes. And that I don't experience examination stress, but while they are talking about it, I've seen them sweating, the forehead filled with sweat. So even if you do not accept it, your body shows the response. So there are bodily symptoms to stress or anxiety. There are, psychological symptoms also. See, when we like, if we are caught up in a situation where we have to do a lot of preparation is required, then also see, we sometimes feel uh, cloudy. The thinking becomes cloudy. We find it difficult to take decisions, isn't it? So same thing happened when a child is facing an exam. The moment the date sheet comes, yes, Jayaji is saying I couldn't eat anything before exam. So true, so true. Yes, the appetite gets affected. Some people find sleeping difficult. Their sleep cycle gets difficult. I remember I've been a hostler. So during my college days, I have seen people, they would, tell everybody in the corridor that please wake me up at so and so time. But वो कभी मौका आता ही नहीं था कि हमें उन्हें जाके जगाना पड़े, because alarms and people were, they were not able to sleep only. Some of my friends were like that. So yes, the sleep gets affected, the appetite, we don't feel hunger. We don't, we forget that what was the last time when we had a sip of water or any drink. So yes, it affects us in many different ways. Some people also experience headaches. And if you go for, Sonika ji is also saying that you don't feel hungry. Yes, it does happen. And since I'm associated with the school, I see children coming to the sick bay and coming to the complaining to the teacher that um, I'm feeling feverish or I'm having stomach ache or headache. And when you see their schedule that day, lot of revision tests are scheduled that day. So it does happen. It does happen, and everybody experiences it. Be a little child, the children of adolescence age, the young people also experience it. And we adults also, if we start facing stressful situations again and again, we would very clearly be able to identify our own stressful triggers and how it is manifesting in our body. Now, what causes it? What can be the causes? When was the last time anybody faced a situation where the person was completely unable to decide what to do and what not to do, how to plan? Have you, in the recent time, have you experienced some situation like this? And try to recollect what was the main cause of it, the underlying cause of it. Suppose a guest is visiting, somebody called that I would be visiting at the so and so time, maybe this weekend. So, what are the things that come to your mind?
Planning, I think when we are not planned, then the stress is more.
Feeling,
Lack of planning adds to the stress.
yes, lack of planning, and then we feel that uh, we are not prepared enough. We are not ready enough to face. We are not ready enough to host them. We don't have the things required to host a guest or to face this situation. And as Neeta said, kuch yaad nahi aa raha. So we may be having so many things in our, whatever we have studied throughout the year, but उस वक्त लगता है कि कुछ भी याद नहीं आ रहा है. It does happen. That this is what stress does to our body. Okay. And how long can it last? An exam stress, does it happen just one day before an exam or on the morning when we are going for an exam? Or, it just goes off after the exam. What do you think?
I think exam gets over and the stress goes.
Yes, the people who are able to take it in that way, they are able to cope up in that way. The exam is over, the stressful situation is over, and it goes off. But I would like to share a case here. When the child was in class 12th, so the child must be about 16 or 17 years of age, and he was a very sincere student. He was devoting sufficient time to study. And so the parents were thinking, yes, he is following a timetable, he's sitting, he's giving prolonged hours of sitting, so he must be studying. And to everybody's surprise, tomorrow is the final exam, and just the evening before, the child gathers the courage, walk up to the father and say, I don't want to appear for exam tomorrow. And can you imagine what can a parent do at that moment? But thankfully, the parent did not overreact. They contacted me and they contacted the school authorities that what is there in our hands? What can we do? So the principal also gave certain forms and certain things, spoke to people that is it possible to make the child sit separately because the child is under stress. And then we contacted few friends of the child, and one of the friend of the child, they agreed to come over to their place, and we, we discussed things, what is causing the trouble and why the child doesn't want to appear for the exam tomorrow. The first paper was the English language paper. Somehow that night we spent with the child, and we somehow he was convinced, and then he gathered the courage that okay, if not I mean scoring well marks, then at least I should face it, then we will see what we will do. So it can last for months, before exam also and even after exams also. So it depends how the person is taking that situation. Okay, so it is very, very real. There are very many cases of it. And even the people, like there is a trend of going for professional coachings these days. Children are facing difficulty in managing both the things, the pace of the coaching and the pace of the school curriculum, and thus they feel overwhelmed at during this phase when the school is holding up exams, and the coaching centers are also holding up certain exams. So it is actually very it can so the one of the cause which creates stress is the circumstances of the life, what all things we are exposed to. These were just examples. So it is, yes, it is very real, and it manifests the stress of the exam. It manifests. Yes, Jayaji. Okay. So yes, it is a very burning issue. Parents are also witnessing it, and children are also facing it. The stress, the balancing thing. So, and can we do something about it? If we consider it, ना तो है, इसे तो है, and at every class difficulty level goes high, so stress to बढ़ेगा ही. If we take it that way, then that is a different scenario. But if we take that what is required to be done, can we do something about it? How as a parent I can contribute, how as a teacher I can contribute, how we can work as a team and reduce the stress and improve the situation. So yes, there are many things that people can do to handle this exam fever and the exam stress. So let's move on. Okay. So, before uh, finding out the solution, before finding out the strategy to deal with it, we should first look upon the underlying causes of it. Okay, so what can we do? Let's see. There is a very famous quote which I found. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. You know, taking that first step is a very difficult thing for some people. They keep procrastination. They'll keep waiting for the perfect time. They'll keep waiting for the perfect circumstances. The first thing that a child or any person can just take action, take the first step. What could be the first step? Plan. The other day, I was talking to some children in my school. They was mentioning that, ma'am, we have got 80 chapters total from all the subjects. We have 80 chapters to be completed. So, see, we need to help the children plan also what is there in front of them and what they can do with it. So the planning should be on in terms of the syllabus, like the syllabus which they have already covered, the new chapters which they have learned recently, they have to be dealt first. They can divide the entire syllabus into major chunks, the difficult ones, the newer concepts, the easier ones, and the topics which have already been repeated. So that kind of planning, the date sheet, then the children from 8th to 12th, they can be helped to understand the blueprint of the question paper, the blueprint, like which chapter has which, how much weightage, so which chapter has to be prepared in which manner. That kind of planning is required. And also we need to, like if my child is appearing for a board exam, and the exam center is in some other school or some other place, we as a parent, what we can do, we can go there beforehand. We can see how much traveling time is required, what is exact reporting time, and all that kind of planning is also required. The stationery required, these are small little things. Like I received a feedback from a teacher, from my son's teacher, that please ask your son to use a darker color pen. He's using a lighter color pen. So these are small little things which can impact their performance in the exam, but we need to take care for these little details also. So that kind of planning, the more you plan, the lesser that uncertainty will be. And I'm sure that will definitely lead to reducing that exam fever and the stress. Though uncertainty is always there, but we can definitely reduce the percentage of it. Then preparation, taking notes, making notes, using flow charts, mind maps, learning techniques like mnemonics and all. है ना? And as parents, as a family, we should sit with the child, that we should allow the child to speak and open up his or her concern. That is also a part of preparation. Okay. So whatever experience we have and whatever we are, understanding through the concerns of the child, we can chalk out some plan to deal with the things. And yes, practice is the most important thing, because in our country we still have subjective time, kind of exam. We need to help the children to um, sit for 3 hours or 2 hours and write and practice how to deal with the question paper, how to do the time management. These are skills which will help the students to face the exam more confidently, and thus will definitely reduce the anxiety faced during exams. Then place where the child is sitting. The child should have a designated place. It should be quiet. It should be, more importantly nowadays, it should be away from any kind of distraction, especially the gadget. It should be a gadget-free zone. So that kind of a thing should be done. Then peace and pace. We should never compare our level of preparation with the level of preparation others are doing. And we should go with our own pace. We know what we find difficult. Let us not compare it with the other children. And sometimes it is said na, grass is greener on the other side. तो हमें ऐसा लगता है कि other children are preparing better, my friends are well prepared, but I'm not well prepared. So that comparison should not be there. We should, encourage our children to have self belief in their own preparation, trust their own abilities. And peace is how they can relax themselves if they're feeling stressed out. They should go take breaks. They should do little stretching exercises or anything that makes them feel better and at peace. So I think these are the things we can tell our children to do. Okay, what is this in the picture?
It's a pizza and I'm fasting today and you're making me feel hungry.
Yes, it's a pizza, and there you can see there are different slices to it. So, my intention of showing you this picture is not to tempt you, Divya. My intention of showing this picture was to help uh, project a very important thing. See, exam is just a, mm, you know, you can say a means to check the level of understanding. It is not a, uh level, not a, you can say a criteria to measure our own worth. And it is just a small section of our life. There are so many important aspects to our life. If we see the things a, at a girls like this, then probably the anxiety should reduce. Whenever stressful situation come, we should tell our this is just a moment, this is just a phase, it will go away. It is not the complete thing, it is just a part of my life. So we should help our children also to understand and develop this kind of perspective. And whenever we experience that our child is experiencing some kind of anxiety, वो उनकी बातों में रिफ्लेक्ट होता है, वो उनके बिहेवियर में भी रिफ्लेक्ट होता है. तो वी शुड reinforce this idea that grades don't define you. Even if you don't perform well, I will still love you. So love is one thing, affection is one thing. We should keep showing. We should keep.
I think a lot of communication and lot of PDA is required to our child right now. कि उनको
Yes,
पकड़
yes,
के यार ठीक है जो होगा मैं हूँ तेरे साथ.
बिल्कुल.
Not let them go to extreme thought process. We'll have to
Yes,
anchor those thought process to productivity because they can go, it unwanted places. कि अगर नहीं हुआ तो क्या होगा मेरा ये वो. So we have to stop that. I think a lot of communication with your child is required. What do you think, Sarika?
yes, absolutely. You're bang on to the point which I wanted to convey, that communication is a key. Communication and expression of your affection and what that child means to you in your life. That ना कि वो एक treasure है हमारे लिए. एग्जाम तो ठीक है, होता रहेगा, नहीं भी हुआ तो दोबारा दे देंगे. ये सब चीजें कन्वे करना बहुत ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है. एंड we should help the child understand that you have so many other things also. As an individual, as a person, your grades don't define you. You have so many other qualities. A child can be good in music, a child can be a very good listener only. Some children are very empathetic at a very young age. So we should but help them and navigate their own qualities, their own strengths. Only projecting their weakness is that you are not good in this, you're not good in that, ye acha nahi karte ho, wo acha nahi karte ho. We should help them discover their own strengths. I do many activities with the children, and when I ask them to write their weaknesses, they don't take much time, because most of the people, they keep telling them ye galat hai, ye galat hai, aapne ye theek se nahi kiya, wo theek se nahi kiya. But how many times do we appreciate the children? How many times we tell them you are good in this? So we should do more often this appraisal, the positive kind of feedback we should give. I'm not saying that कुछ भी बोलते रहो, but it should be genuine only. But उनकी positive चीजें, उनकी positive side भी उनको दिखाना चाहिए. And the very first point, as I mentioned in the previous slide about the causes of yes, expectations. So if the child is performing or studying or devoting time to study and prepare for exam because the parents want him to perform well, that cannot go long way, because the locus of control is not internal. So we should help the children understand what they want from their life, what are their goals, what kind of life they want to live in the future. So that kind of dialogue, that kind of conversation should happen very often. जब भी मौका मिले, teachers को भी ये करना चाहिए, and parents should also do it. And then take time to unwind. The children, जैसे मैंने बताया कि my son is in class 10th and there may be many parents जिनके बच्चे 12th में या किसी important phase में होंगे एग्जाम्स के, तो वो एक फैमिली का environment ही हो जाता है. Everybody, even the people who are calling you, they will ask कि पढ़ाई कैसी चल रही है, कौन से एग्जाम हो गए, कैसा परफॉर्मेंस है उसका. सो वी शुड नॉट make the child feel that everything, the whole world revolves around this exam only and this phase only. We should take time to unwind. We should talk about other things also. Taking breaks as a family is also very, very important to reduce this stress, or helping them to face this stress beautifully and confidently. Yes, next slide, Divya. So we should be mindful, living in the present moment. See, any kind of stress, whether it is exam stress, whether it is any kind of anxiety due to any reason, it is because of only two reasons. Either we are ruminating in the past, or we are thinking about the future. But what is the thing we should do? We should try to live in the present moment. That is being mindful. So practicing mindfulness is very important, and it's a skill which can be developed and nurtured at any stage. So we should help the children also to uh, practice mindfulness. Then cultivating growth mindset. See, it's a very important thing, and it is a kind of skill that is uh, helpful to face any kind of challenge in the life, which even as adult children will face. If they have the growth mindset, they can face anything and everything. That resilience will build up. So this is a very important thing to do. Then take your time. There's no hurry. If you have goals, goal clarity, if you have made plans and you're working on it, and if you're not successful in that first attempt, in that plan A, if it is you did not attain success, then take time, step back, take time, relax, ease out, and then try again. So we should utilize time as a factor to relax. There's no hurry. If suppose after results also, या during द फेज ना, जब रिजल्ट आ जाता है और एडमिशंस का प्रोसेस चल रहा होता है, उस टाइम पे भी बहुत प्रेशर होता है. लॉट ऑफ स्ट्रेस इज देयर, लॉट ऑफ people come to seek help that time ki different kind of behavioral disorders are developing, different kind of manifestation of the stresses there in the children. So hasty decision should not be made. We should take time. The children should be allowed to take time to relax and see what they exactly want and what course they want their life to take on. And yes, seeking help, seeking professional help is a very important thing. And we should not hesitate if we feel there are red flags and it's not helping in any way. The things we have tried, it's not helping. And still that stress is there, still that anxiety is there, and it's continuing for about 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. That means some professional help is required. So do not hesitate to seek professional help also. Yes, Divya, shall we move on? So I would like to end with this quote that difficult roads lead to beautiful destinations. We should, nothing is easy. We should plan for things. Even if things are uncertain, we should persist. We should be persistent with the efforts we are making, and we should never lose hope, because ultimately, wherever we'll reach, it will be a beautiful thing. If not the course which we expected of, but then definitely something better and different. So, with this note, I would like to end it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sarika, for doing this. And I love your sessions. And the way you make it so simplified, it's beautiful. And I just hope this recording reaches maximum number of people, because many parents are feeling that it's their exams going on. I had this mother who said, Ki, I sit behind my child starts feeling sleepy, so I have to wake him after every 1 hour. And I was like, oh my God, I mean, what is happening? So, parents are also going through a lot of stress. I think this is required that we remove the stress from everyone. And thank you so much, everyone who made it
Thank you,
today.
Divya. Thank you, Divya, for having me here and giving me this opportunity. And thank you for the wonderful audience. Thank you, everybody.